Hello everybody, and salutations. I am making this video to discuss which players, in my opinion, are the greatest to ever play their respective sports. Now, when I was making this video, I realized that for there to be less controversy, as there is always controversy with these videos, but everybody loves to talk about it, so I decided to make one, is I had to define what constitutes the greatest player. What is your definition? And by my definition, the greatest player would be good in any time period. There would be no question that he would dominate the game that he or she plays. And the other thing is that if I was implementing my team, if I was making a team and I could choose from anybody to have ever walked on the court, to ever have ran on the track, or any other thing, I would pick that person with my first pick, because they had all the intangibles and tangibles and qualities of what I wanted in a great player. Now, with that said, let's get started. The sport I'm going to start out with, which is probably one of the easier sports to gauge the best player, is hockey. And for this sport, I'm not going to bring up other players. I'm going to drop one name and simply list how great he was and promptly be done with it. Wayne Gretzky, number 99, Wayne the Great Gretzky, is, by all in all, the greatest hockey player to ever pick up a stick. When he retired in 1999, he had 61 NHL records. Since then, to this day, only one has been broken. And it was most assists in a playoff game. So, if you just look at his numbers, he had 15 100-point seasons, 9 50-goal seasons, 9 Hart trophies, 92 goals in a season, the record, 163 assists in a season. He ended his career with 2,856 points. Now, what makes that so amazing is, look at second place, Mark Messier at 1,855. He's up by 1,001 points. That's how glorious this guy was. Nobody had a chance. They nicknamed the back of the net, they called it Gretzky's office, because of how good he was at passing it to other players to score. He was such a playmaker at every level of the game. He's just the best. He has the records for most assists, most goals, most points, which is combined. He was unstoppable. He really could not be denied anything. By large and all, he is the greatest player to ever play the game statistically, and 9 MVPs. I really don't think there's any argument that he was the greatest. The next sport I'm going to talk about is basketball. And after a lot of thinking and talking, I've lowered down the best players, in my opinion, to ever play in the NBA to 7. Bill Russell, Oscar Robertson, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Wilt Chamberlain, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, also known as Lou Alcindor, and Michael Jordan. Now, I'm going to talk about all 7 before I claim who is the best. Starting from the top with Bill Russell, what can I say? The man, he's probably the pioneer of the center position in the NBA. First, I'll talk about their strengths and maybe touch up on what I viewed as a weakness. Wilt Chamberlain is known predominantly, if you've heard of him, as the North American champion. He played 13 years in the NBA, and in those 13 years, he went to the finals 12 times and took home a championship 11 times. So he has 11 trophies. That's more than fingers on your hand. Anyway, so the Big Six, as they call him, he's known for pioneering the center position. He was known for blocking shots, and not like blocking them in the crowd, but blocking them so he would get the rebound and then start the fast break. And he had a great career as a Celtics player. He is one of the best rebounds. He averaged 24.9 rebounds per game in the playoffs, 22 in the season, which is career. which is phenomenal, second only time to Wilt. And yeah, he has more championships than any of these guys I'm going to talk about, but one of the weaknesses I find in him is that, first of all, and again, my criteria as greatest player ever, he was 6'11", or 6'10", sometimes somewhere this he was listed as 6'9", and so as a center today, I don't think he'd be as dominant just because he may not be the tallest guy, and he was pretty skinny, and he may not be as powerful. If you look at today's, the center's very powerful. When you think of great Hakeem Olajuwon, Shaquille O'Neal, and Dwight Howard, they're all very strong, and I don't think he'd be able to put up with them. So I don't think he would be as good in this time, and I do think that hinders him. And I also think that he was a great cornerstone in those 11 championships, but he was surrounded by a very good team. Most people probably haven't heard of these guys, but he had a great team with him. He was playing with pioneers such as Orr Lloyd, Chuck Cooper, and Sweetwater Clifton. Wikipedia those guys if you don't know who they are. I had to. But they had a great team. It was coached by Red Auerbach, who's another considered like the other John Wooden, who is the best coach of any sport of all time. That's not even debatable. I can make another video of that. But Bill really epitomized the center position, and he was great. Now on to Oscar Robertson, the Big O as they call him. He wore number 14. He played for the Royals on the Bucks. He was a Bill was a 5-time season MVP. Oscar Robertson was a 1-time season MVP, and he was Rookie of the Year. Oscar Robertson is credited with the triple-double record. He's the only person ever in NBA history to average a triple-double, which is double digits in 3 statistics, which is mainly going to be points, rebounds, and assists. Now, that is insane when you consider it. He averaged 22 points per game, 6 rebounds, and 9 assists. But for his first 5 seasons, he did play for a long. He played for, I don't know how many seasons he played for. Let me see if it says here. He played for 14 NBA seasons. For his first 5 seasons, he averaged a triple-double in total, which is amazing. I believe he averaged a triple-double twice for the whole season, which is insane. No one else has done that. If you play fantasy basketball, that would be a huge deal. And he was one of the, I definitely think he was one of the best passers. He was a great rebounder, and he's one of the best team players. He only won 1 NBA championship, and he teamed up with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar for that, but he was a great player. And I do love how all-around he is. The next player I'm going to talk about is Earvin Magic Johnson. Now, Magic, he played 13 seasons, won 5 championships, and played in 9 finals. So he was 5 out of 9 on finals, but, I mean, you got 5 rings, he's good. He was MVP 3 times, he was finals MVP 3 times, and he was NBA team 9 times. He was assists and steals leader, respectively, 4 and 2 times, which is very nice. He was a great player. He led the LA Fast Break with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and he is considered, again, another great player. And there's not many faults about Magic, I gotta admit. Like, he won an Olympic gold medal in 1992. He may have won another one, I'm not sure. He played with some great players. He beat some great teams, and was definitely one of the dominant players of his time. The next player I'm going to talk about is, I skipped Larry Bird. I'm so sorry. Larry Bird, he played in 13 seasons. He won 3 championships. He played in 5 finals. His nickname is Larry Legend. And he, again, was a great player. He was a really good shooter. He shot 50% from field goal percentage, which is phenomenal if you ask me. Not many players can shoot that well for their career. And I think one great thing about Larry was that he could dominate the game with only taking 10 shots. He'd have 17 assists, 12 rebounds, 20 points. And that was what was so good about him, was that he could dominate so many games with just because he would do everything, and he was such a great player. He shot almost 90% shot almost 90% from the foul line, which made him great. And the next player I'm going to, and again, it makes it so hard to differentiate how good these players are, because I'm telling you, like, Larry didn't have many weaknesses. He was a great player in the 80s and still is considered one of the best players today. The next player I'm going to talk about is what a lot of people consider is another great player, Wilt Chamberlain, the only player to score 100 points in the game, and some people believe that will never be touched again. He won 2 NBA championships and played in 6 finals. I believe he is the only person to take away a championship from Bill Russell, which is phenomenal. He won the season MVP 4 times. He was a finals MVP once. He was an All-NBA first team. He is the only player to average 50 points and 25 rebounds for a season, which is phenomenal. I would put that up there with Oscar Robertson averaging a triple-double for a season, just because of how, like, that's total domination. 50 points and 25 rebounds a game. That's amazing. All-time rebounds leader, of course. He probably has the most records out of all the players I mentioned, and he would be great in it. He definitely again showed how dominant the center position can be, just dunking it and dunking it again. Definitely, I'd say he's second all-time, third all-time in scoring points, which makes him phenomenal again. And when he and Bill Russell played, it was pretty much Bill Russell was the greatest defensive player against Wilt Chamberlain, who was the greatest offensive player of their time. The next player I'm going to talk about is another Laker, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. He played 20 seasons. He won 6 NBA championships. He played in 10 finals. He was season MVP 6 times, which is a record. He was finals MVP twice, and he was he made the All-Star team 10 times. Oh, no, he was All-NBA first team 10 times. He was All-Star more times. He has 2 scoring titles, and he was a rebounding leader and blocks leader for 1 and 4 years, respectively. He is the all-time scoring points leader. He averaged 24.6. He averaged 24.6 points per game for his career, 11.2 rebounds per game, and Again, he has the most points. Like, what do you can say about it? He played 20 years. He's probably the most consistent player ever, I would give him. He played on the Bulls and the Lakers. And he invented the skyhook. He was known for that, at least. Magic Johnson had it too. And no one could stop that. He won, I think, 3 college championships. He was a true champion. The next player I'm going to talk about is Michael Jeffrey Jordan. He played in 15 seasons. He won 6 championships, played in 6 finals, so he was 6 for 6 on finals, only player. He won 5 MVPs. He was 6 times finals MVP. He was an All-NBA first team 10 times, and he was all defensive first team 9 times. And he's the only player out of these 7 that was defensive player of the year. He won 10 scoring titles. He was steals leader 3 times. He averaged for his career 30.1 points per game, which is amazing in my opinion. That means even if you count his Wizards days, which probably just brought him down, that he was worth 30 per game every night of his career, no matter what. What you got to realize about Michael, which most people know, is he retired definitely in his prime 2 years. He probably would have won 8 championships had he not retired for those 2 years. But yeah, he averaged 33.4 games in the playoffs. He's known as one of the best closers, his airness. And he was on what I think was the greatest team ever, the 72-10 Bulls in, I believe, 96, who were pretty much unstoppable. Now, after I've gone through all those guys, I am going to say who I think the best player is MJ. Now, I know everyone will say this is a really easy pick, but the thing is about MJ is he was so good at getting to the basket. If you watch any highlights of any game, of any thing on any video on YouTube, you see that he was unstoppable at getting to the basket. He would switch hands. He would do anything. He would be dominant at any time in the game. Now, I can't say that for Bill Russell. I just don't think he would be that good. He was 6'9". He wouldn't get all those blocks that he always got back then because not everybody was short, and the game has changed and people have got stronger faster. But Michael was so strong, and Michael, out of all those players, he was the only player on that whole list to be Defensive Player of the Year. Bill Russell wasn't. None of these other players were. Like, that's how good he was. He was so good offensively. He was also good defensively. He was he was all defensive first team 9 times and all NBA first team 10 times. Like, it shows you, like, he was so dominant on both ends of the court. He played defense and offense for all 94 feet on the court. Now, you may say, now Kareem Abdul-Jabbar has the most points, so obviously, you know, it's pretty good to pick him. But see, the thing is, he played 5 more seasons than Michael, and he scored, let's see, Michael Jordan scored 32,300 points per game, and Kareem scored 38,000, about 400 points per game. But he played 5 less seasons, and he averaged for his career about 6 points less than Michael Jordan. Basically, like, Michael Jordan, if he had played 20 seasons, he would score more points than Kareem. Now, I can't say, now maybe, I guess every player has a different career, but Michael retired for 2 years, so he should at least have 17 years, and he would have come really close to that scoring. So I really can't, in my mind, he could have been the scoring champ, but the all-time scoring champ. But if I was gonna have my team, I would just have to have Michael, because if you just look at it, like, he never lost the finals, he never went to a game 7 in the finals. He was so competitive, he would not let it end, and he made everyone in his team better. Now, all these guys did do that, but he would make anyone better. If you look back in the 1990, I was watching a video of the 1993 World Championships, where what he would do is this guy named John Paxson, who you probably never heard of, he passed to him all the time in the fourth quarter, and he would just keep hitting these jumpers because Michael Jordan would get double teamed, and he would be wide open because he would make everyone on his team better, and he showed that. And he has one Olympic championship, one NCAA championship. He is the epitome of basketball. He would dominate at any time. He would dominate now, where I think the defenses are weaker. He would dominate at any other time. Now, a close runner-up for me has got to be not Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, not Magic, but Wilt, because he was so tall. I do think he is probably the most offensive savvy player as a center. He is tied for Michael Jordan for averaging 30.1 points per game. And he, again, has an all-time record for rebounds. But again, I wouldn't pick him first on my team just because Michael can bring up the ball, he can shoot the jumper. Wilt Chamberlain's just the center, and he's not what you build the team around. You have to have a good team to pass the ball to him. And Michael could just dominate any corner of the floor, and it's such a great thing to have him. And Michael's just my best player because I believe in him. I said he would shoot the last shot. I could have him do everything. I couldn't see Wilt Chamberlain doing everything compared to what Michael could do. That's it for basketball.